Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Now we can all agree that it is satisfying if we get to use on a day-to-day basis tools that we have built on our own, right? Now around this idea is where I have an interesting tutorial series lined up for you guys where we're going to be building a to-do app using Python. So for the front end, we're going to be using Python. For the back end, we're also going to be using Python. Now, apart from just building the to-do app, we're also going to be deploying it. We're going to be compiling it and deploying it on an Android phone so that you can use it on a day-to-day basis. I want to take you through a detailed tour of the actual application that we will be building throughout the tutorial series, so that if it's something that sparks your interest and it's something that you want to look out for, you can consider subscribing to my channel, turning your notification on so that you'll be notified when I upload a new episode of the tutorial series. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so I have the application fired up on my computer, and once the application is fired for the first time, you're going to be greeted by a sign up screen. Now this is where you're going to pass in a username or an alias that the application is going to use to refer to you within it, okay? Now without that username, you're not going to be able to access the rest of the pages, the rest of the screens and features that the To-Do app offers. So you're definitely going to want to pass in the username. Now before I pass in the username, I want you to notice two things. The first thing is that the create user btn has been deactivated. Why? Because it requires that you first enter the username or an alias before it is activated. The second thing, you'll notice that we have an app_data.json file. Now this is the file that is going to store the information of the user and all the tasks that the user is going to add as he or she or they interacts with the application. Okay, so I'm going to pass in a username, right? And then once I pass it in, you'll notice that the create user btn has been activated. Now when I click on that, we're going to be taken to the home screen, and you'll notice that the app_data.json has been populated with information. Now this is the user information, that is the username and the time that the user signed up. Okay, now with this information, once we have this information, next time we fire up the application, we're not going to be taken to the sign up screen, but rather we're going to be taken to the home page or the home screen. Okay, now in the sign up screen, you'll notice that at the top you have a welcome message, that is the welcome, and then the alias or the username that you passed in. And then here we're also going to have information that are specific to the tasks, right? The first feature that I want you to notice is the progress bar. Now this progress bar will give you information on the total number of tasks that you have completed. Okay, at the moment we have no tasks, so that's why we're getting 0% of the tasks are completed. And then apart from that, we're going to split the tasks into 5 categories, that is personal, work, study, social, and health. Functionality regarding a specific task category is going to be nested inside a container. Okay, now each container is going to have vital information that is going to allow you to really get to understand what is going on with tasks that belong to a specific category. Now let us work with personal tasks for this. Now at the moment, you'll notice that we have a percentage at the top left of the container. We also have a circular progress bar at the top right. We have information on the number of tasks that belong to that category, in this case personal, the number of tasks completed, and the number of tasks left. Okay, and then on the bottom right, you have a button that takes you to another screen where you can actually interact with the tasks that you've added. Okay, at the moment we have added no tasks, and that's why we are getting no data. Also in the home screen, you have a floating button that is going to take you to a screen where you can actually now add details of a specific task. Now let's click on that and see how we can actually add tasks to our to-do app. So I'll click on that, and here we have few details that are required. In here, we are going to implement a few validations to ensure that the information passed regarding a specific tasks are correct. Okay, each task is definitely going to have a title. Without that, you cannot add that task in the To-Do app. The description of the task is going to be optional. Okay, you're also going to need a start date, a start time, and end time. Those are definitely going to be required. And then the task category by default is going to be set to personal. So if you don't set that, it's definitely going to, by default, it's going to be set to personal. Now let me add a single task, and then let's see how that works. So I'll say Django for this. I'll say I will be working on Django. And then start date, I'm going to set it to today. Okay, so I'll click on this just so that I don't have to actually open this dialog to set the date if the date is today. Okay, so I'll set that to today, and then the start time, I'm going to set it to maybe 10:55 a.m. and the end date and the end time. Now notice if I set the end time to be behind the start time, we're going to get an error. We're going to get an error saying that end time cannot be behind the start time. So you definitely need to set the end time to be ahead of the start time. So I'll set that to maybe 12 p.m. and we're good to go. And then we're going to be working with maybe study for this specific demonstration. So I'll save that task, and you'll notice that we have now created a new table called task data. Initially, when we signed up, we created a new table called user data, but now we have created another table called task data to store all the information that are specific to tasks that a user is going to be adding as he, she, or they interacts with the application. Okay, I also want you to note the details that are saved regarding a specific task. So we need a title, the description, the start time, the end time, the completed. Now, once you add a task, by default, the completed attribute of that task is going to be set to false, and then the category, the month, and the day. Okay, now let me add more tasks, and then we can be able to actually now see the other features we're going to implement in our to-do app. Okay, but first, before I add other tasks, now if I click on the more buttons, because at the moment we have the number of tasks set to 1, if I click on the more button, you'll notice that we have only one task on February the 23rd, right? Now let me add more tasks, and then we can be able to see other features we are going to implement in this tutorial series. Alright guys, so I have added 2 more tasks belonging to the study category. Now when I click on the more BTN, okay, you'll notice that I have tasks on the 23rd. Now when I click on the 24th, I'll be given tasks that belong to the 24th, okay? And then I have only tasks on February. Now let me add tasks on another month. Let's say on March, right? I can say March task. I can say this is on maybe on March 2nd, right? Let's set the start time to that, and then let's set the end time to this. Also, I'll set that to study, and then set tasks. Now I've added one more task just to show another feature that we're going to be implementing. Now, if I click on the more BTN, you'll notice that now, apart from February, I have tasks on March, okay? And you can also have tasks on other months, maybe March, April, depending on just how you basically want to organize your tasks, okay? And then apart from that, you'll notice that inside this screen, we can actually interact with the task. Now I can set this Django task to completed, and when I set it to completed, apart from having the Django title being stricken through, when you go to the home page, you're also going to see that the progress bar changes, okay? Progress bar for the overview of tasks and progress bar for that specific task, okay? So let me click on completed. You'll notice that the overview progress bar tells you that 25% of the tasks are completed. Because we only have tasks belonging to the study category, you'll notice that also the percentage has changed and the circular progress bar has also changed, okay? Also, I can delete a task. Now, if I click on the more and say I want to delete this task, sleeping as one of the tasks, so I can click on that and I have deleted one task. Now, when I go back, you'll notice that the percentage changes and the number of tasks changes. Also, the percentage within that specific task category also changes. Now, these are some of the features that you're going to be implementing throughout the tutorial series. I am excited for this tutorial series. I hope you are too. Yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Leave a like, and I'll see you in the next. Bye.